and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Tuesday, August 19th. We begin with an update to a story we brought you yesterday. We now know that the apartment where a 17-year-old was killed over the weekend was never registered to the city as a short-term rental. This is a violation of city code. Xavion Whitlow was killed in a shooting early Sunday morning at 21st and Central. A neighbor says it happened at a birthday party for a 19-year-old. We've also learned that according to city code, the owner of the building can be fined if a short-term rental does not have a permit. We reached out to the owners of the apartments for comment yesterday. So far, we have yet to hear back. Well, for the first time, AES Indiana customers get to share their thoughts with the state board considering the utility's request to raise power rates. People will get another chance to weigh in this Thursday. News 8's Kat Sandoval reports.
The people who spoke shared their frustrations with the company, be it high bills, services being cut, and lack of accountability. It was a packed house. There were more than 75 people in attendance, and people had to stand around the room because there weren't enough seats.
I don't know when it became acceptable to put profits over people.
Many AES customers sounded off Monday night, many of them frustrated with their service. They wanted the commission to hold the company accountable instead of approving a rate increase. Jenny Lee shared that she keeps her home at 80 degrees just so her bills don't increase. She wants others to speak up.
It's vitally important. I know that some people who work multiple jobs can't make it here tonight to make their opinions heard. So I think it's super important that if you can, please come, because companies like this, they just see numbers on a piece of paper.
Mary Zahner says she has lived in Indianapolis for 44 years and says since 2021, she's had numerous outages.
And now it's constant. And a lot of it just blips. The sun's shining, we lose power. And then it comes back on.
AES is proposing a 13.5% increase that amounts to about $21 per month over the next 2 years. In a statement, AES Indiana says the rate increase is due to rising costs, including materials and labor and infrastructure investments. AES Indiana says they understand the burdens any increase a monthly bill can have for our customers. This is why we remain committed to only making necessary and prudent investments needed to ensure continued reliable service. This isn't your only chance to give feedback.
We need as many individuals as possible to speak up on this issue and talk about their concerns. But we're also inviting comments in writing. So if you can't make it tonight and you want to speak, or maybe you don't want to speak in front of a crowd, you are welcome to submit written consumer comments through September 2nd.
There are 3 more public hearings. The next one will be Thursday at Southeast Community Services in Fountain Square. The commission will issue their decision on the rate proposal early next year. I'm Kat Sandoval for Wish TV, wishtv.com.
There is still no word on what led to a crash involving a school bus and 3 other vehicles east of Indianapolis. 4 people were sent to the hospital. This happened yesterday afternoon in a construction zone on I-70 eastbound between the Knightstown and Newcastle exits. Firefighters say no children were on that bus. The Knightstown Fire Department did not release the conditions of people who were hurt. All 7 of Indiana's Republican members of the U.S. House now say they support redrawing the state's congressional districts. That push follows similar efforts from lawmakers in Texas trying to help Republicans hold on to a House majority in next year's midterms. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez reports.
The announcements by those 7 Republicans in the U.S. House comes 1 week before other Indiana Republican leaders are set to meet with President Donald Trump to go over potentially redistricting here in Indiana. All of the posts from congressional Republicans contain similar messaging, pointing to Democrats' efforts in states like California as the reason for their support. But this all started when President Trump demanded that Texas redraw its districts to help Republicans gain 5 House seats next year, as polls were showing Republicans were at risk of losing their slim majority. Several state-level Republicans here in Indiana have criticized the idea, and Governor Mike Braun has not said whether he would call a special session to rewrite the congressional map. Yesterday, he told reporters such a session would cost taxpayers about $150,000.
Here, you'd have to make sure that most legislators want to do it. Caucus leaders are as well, and they think it is important enough to do it. I'm not going to call one unless there is going to be general agreement that we need to.
Also yesterday, Democrats in Texas ended their walkout that halted the Republican move to redraw districts there. They agreed to do so after California Governor Gavin Newsom moved forward with his plans to try to redraw that state's districts to help Democrats win additional House seats. Again, Indiana Republicans were invited to meet with Trump next Tuesday in Washington, D.C., although we aren't sure which officials will be meeting with the president next week. Reporting from outside the State House, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
On to news out of the nation's capital, where President Trump is working to set up a face-to-face meeting between the leaders of Russia and Ukraine. Ahead of Trump's meeting yesterday with Ukraine's president and other European leaders, he was caught on a hot mic saying Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to make a deal to end the war, in Trump's words, to help the president out. Trump made the claim during a private exchange with France's president. It's pretty hard to hear, but we do have some audio. Just take a listen.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that, as crazy as it sounds?
Since his one-on-one meeting with Putin on Friday, Trump has backed away from calling a ceasefire. He even seemed to agree with Russia's call for Ukraine to give up some of its land. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he and European leaders are united in calling for a full ceasefire before any direct talks with Putin.
And so I was supported by all the European leaders in that, and I confirmed that we're ready for a bilateral meeting with Putin, and after that we are counting on a trilateral one, depending on how the bilateral meeting goes.
The White House says Trump called Putin yesterday and is working to arrange a meeting with Zelensky. Let's talk sports. Daniel Jones will be the Colts starting quarterback for the September 7th regular season opener against the Miami Dolphins. Head coach Shane Steichen announced the news at an 11:15 press conference, saying the decision came down to consistency.
They're both great. AR was great. He knows that he still needs to develop and learn in those areas, and he knows that he's one play away. Let those guys know, let the team know this morning. Team's very supportive of Daniel, but also supportive of AR and his new role, and he's got to attack it the right way.
The Colts kick off the season in Week 1 against the Miami Dolphins at Lucas Oil Stadium on September 7th. That game is at Lucas Oil at 1 o'clock. When it comes to the weather, Storm Track 8 is calling today a transition period. We're in for some showers and storms in some parts of the state. Meteorologist Tara Hastings has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
We could see some spotty showers and thunderstorms on and off throughout the afternoon. We have some popping up on radar right now. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker, and you see right around the Crawfordsville area, we've got some spotty showers moving in. Also across parts of the North Metro area, so Boone County up in Lebanon, Tipton, also Elwood, some light showers, along with Frankfort as well. We've got a few spotty showers. Otherwise, if you're not seeing the rain, you're seeing sunny skies. It is hot and humid. Right now, we're at 82 degrees, no wind to speak of, but look at this, dew point values into the lower 70s. So we've got high humidity values in place right now, creating feels-like temperatures into the mid-80s. We're at 85 in Bloomington, 84 in Washington, almost close to 90 right now in Evansville, 77 in Fort Wayne, and we're at 81 right now. Good morning to you in Richmond. Dew point values off the charts here. Very high humidity values. And on and off throughout the day today, we could see a spotty shower or a thunderstorm, although the better chance will arrive later in the afternoon into the early evening hours. And maybe one or two of those could be on the stronger side with some gusty winds and heavy rainfall. Today, temperatures will climb into the upper 80s, near 90, with feels like temperatures into the mid and upper 90s into the afternoon hours. We'll talk about lower humidity values and also some cooler temperatures as well. We'll share that full 7-day forecast for you coming up in a few minutes.
To get a peek at Tara's full forecast, just head over to WishTV.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Tuesday, August 19th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.